Hello and welcome once again to Minds That Matter. My name is James Thomas, and with us today we have the founders and artists of the Peacelove Studios, Mr. Jeffrey Sparr and Mr. Matthew Kaplan.
Yeah.
Great to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
I'm very excited about what you're going to share with us today because I just think it's wonderful that there's another resource in the state for folks to work on their recovery from mental illness. And you guys have a great story. And I think I'll start with you, Jeffrey, if that would be okay. Because before we were talking, you were telling me some of your history and what inspired you to start Peacelove Studios.
Yeah, just as a quick means of background, I grew up here in Rhode Island, went to Ohio State on a tennis scholarship, and in my early 20s, thought I was basically going crazy. And fortunately, I got diagnosed, and I had obsessive compulsive disorder, and was able to get help and lead a productive life, but a tough battle throughout. About maybe 16, 17 years ago, on a whim one day, I literally, desperate for some kind of relaxation, and I decided I was going to try to paint, but I had no idea how to paint. But I figured maybe it'd help me. So then I picked up some paints, started painting, and I got some peace of mind from it, and I haven't stopped. So I figured if it helped me, maybe it could help other people.
The impetus to start Peacelove Studios was inspired by your own history.
Right. I had the symbol that you see that Matthew and I are both proudly wearing on our shirts is the Peacelove symbol. It's something I had painted a number of years back, and it's the combination of the two iconic symbols, the peace symbol and the heart, but the peace symbol means peace of mind.
Okay.
Which was what people like myself and the tens of millions of others that suffer from mental illness, we're looking for. It's the little things in life that we get ripped off. So in a way, that symbol epitomized that peace of mind that I was looking for. And I was pretty familiar with the space of mental health, having done a lot of advocacy and raised money and tried to put a face on mental illness. And I was convinced that to really break down stigma, that we'd have to build some kind of symbol. I mean, it's pretty amazing that in the year 2011 that there's a yellow bracelet, there's a pink ribbon, there's a red campaign, but nothing for the tens of millions of people like myself. So we figured that we'd go out and we'd build that symbol.
All right.
That people could proudly wear, share, experience, and have hope.
Now, you're both local Rhode Islanders, right?
Today, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you are looking to expand this Peacelove symbol from not only Rhode Island, but out nationally, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, my understanding is that you're at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. You just opened up a studio there.
We did,
which is awesome. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And how long have you been there?
We opened up 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
In conjunction with the Cirque du Soleil show, and it'll be open 200 nights of the year when they have events, and a real significant thing for us in our movement, because other than the airport, the Dunkin' Donuts Center is the most visible space in the state of Rhode Island. So we're very proud, for the first time in history, really, a positive symbol for mental illness is flying in a place of mass in our state. So it's a very proud day for us.
That's great. Now, you're originally in Pawtucket, correct? But you also have a studio there.
Right. We started in Pawtucket, which is home, and we've spent the last 2.5 years really almost like an incubator. We're trying to do something that really hasn't been done before, and there's no roadmap and no exact path. So it's been like a working incubator to try to both build our programming, come up with this formula, if you will, of how to build the symbol. And then I think third and equally important is to build this first physical place of inclusion, where someone could go to. I always call it build a bear with meaning. A spot that everybody's welcome, regardless of what your situation is. A place where you can experience art, you can actually do creative art activity, and really be there. And we're very proud of that.
That's awesome. Now, Matthew, your expertise are in marketing, correct?
My background, I actually have a sports management degree, which I've never put to good use, but about 2.5 years ago, I had a small sales and marketing company. And Jeff had a pretty cool following of people that like to collect his artwork, and he was a little reluctant to take a check for his artwork, and I wasn't so reluctant. So I said, how about we have an art show and tell your story. We had a big gala event, and we sold about $15,000 worth of artwork. And I had that money. I looked at him and said, well, what do you want to do with it? Knowing that he'd want to do something good with it. And we kind of came up with the idea of a class that we called Paint for Peace, which was painting for peace of mind, which was his relief. And we got out in the community, and we called hospitals, schools, after-school programs, and said, we have an experience that we think would be good for your children or the adults or whoever was in your program. And we went and we taught Paint for Peace for free, and we ran out of money after about 4 months, and that's when we decided, we needed to put a business behind this and think about self-sustainability and, how could the impact that we made every day, whether it was in a classroom or at an organization, you drew a lot of inspiration from that, drew a lot of energy from that. But, we were helping people. Jeff was sharing his personal story, and I think, was a role model. Not a lot of people are out there talking about their mental health disorder. Most times I'm sure that these are things that people, don't admit to themselves or, because of social stigmas and things as like such, aren't necessarily forthcoming, don't want to share these things. And we look at it as the exact opposite. These are stories that need to be shared and celebrated, and the arts are a nice way to bridge that.
You have had artists from around the country who have done designs for you so far.
Correct, yeah.
Correct? T-shirt designs?
Yep.
And you had mentioned before the show that you'll put their name on it and maybe what they've gone through and sort of why they've been inspired to do the design?
And we look at ourselves from a community standpoint. It's not just artists. We look at ourselves as artists and advocates, and really an advocate is anybody that's willing to step up and invest in a conversation of acceptance and understanding for mental health. But we had a huge outpouring from famous artists. A gentleman named Andre Mirapolsky in LA did our first T-shirt. He had this iconic image of Fear No Art. He changed it to Fear No Mental Illness, which is the T-shirt that you now own.
Great.
But very cool guy, but an advocate, someone that's interested in through art and through storytelling, creating awareness for mental health disorders. So, pretty cool guy.
Now, my understanding is that the studio in Pawtucket, you said there's a stipend of, $200 a year to access that studio. And then as many people as a program want to bring in, you'll be there, you provide supplies, you provide consultation, and people can go in and be creative in there. Is that how that works? Yeah,
well, there's 3 parts to our actual studio. Peacelove Studio is the physical space. We have an art gallery, and that gallery is, we showcase famous artists, artists that take our class for the first time, where we tell stories and share stories in the confines of a gallery. We have a store where people can buy merchandise, and when you buy a T-shirt, we give away a free expressive arts program to an individual in need. So there's that, consumer to benefactor scenario going on. And then we have an expressive arts studio in the back where we have individuals that have memberships, we have corporations that have memberships. The one that I was telling you about earlier was organizations like Gateway Health Services, Fellowship Health Resources, the Trudeau Center, the Providence Center. These are organizations that buy a group membership, and they come, and we have a good time in the back, and we laugh, we have fun, and we create. And
cool.
It's led by volunteers. We have a program director, Amy Kinney, who's responsible for all of our programming, and it's a great atmosphere. And we've taken what we've built in Pawtucket, and now we've brought that to the Dunkin' Donuts Center. So more highly visible, more highly accessible, and hopefully a good thing for the mental health community in Rhode Island.
We're going to be doing a fundraiser in the fall for our homeless program, Housing First in Providence. And the title of the fundraiser is going to be called Keys for the Homeless. So if we were to come to you and say we want to have a t-shirt designed for this fundraising event, would that be something that you guys would be amenable to? Be interested in doing something like that?
Sure, love to
bet.
do it.
Okay.
You bet. Yeah.
All right.
Love to take a stab at it myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Give me
I
an
mean,
excuse to do some art, you know?
okay. Now, you are an artist who's also the co-founder. How much time do you get to actually be artistic versus sort of having to do the management and the nutsy boltsy parts of the studios?
Now you sound like my doctor. You know, because my doctor has reminded me that I have to listen to some of my own advice, and it's gotten to the point where actually one day a week I'll carve out time to create, you know,
Okay.
for my own personal health, because it's just you know, it's a very busy schedule with all the things that we have going on, and you can forget to take care of yourself sometimes. But
Yeah.
to this day, it still amazes me when I get into that creative mode. You know, something happens where, you know, maybe for a while you get lost and everything else, and find some peace of mind. It's that simple. You know?
Back to the Dunkin' Donuts Center for a bit. You have the studio there, but it's also a store, too, correct?
Yep.
But you also have stuff online. What's your web address online that people can go to buy something?
Sure. It's peacelovestudios.com.
Okay.
And when you visit the website, we have our story section. We have Shop Peace Love, which is our store, and then we have a community page as well. And the community page is really where we talk about events. We feature a story of the week, a featured product of the week. We have a lot of videos that we've produced over the last 2 years that give people an insight into the people, the programs, the products. A lot of information in one place, but easy to navigate, and people enjoy the website.
Okay, good.
And you know, the social media for us is a big push. You know, having the Facebook page and the Twitter feed, and you know, using YouTube and some of the different social media outlets helps us, you know, promote our message and our mission on a national basis. So we have a big base of support from all over the country, and someday, we were talking about it earlier, we'd love to have Peacelove Studios, the physical spaces all over the country, because we believe there's not a community that wouldn't benefit from, you know, a positive atmosphere.
It's almost like a franchise then.
Yeah, maybe.
Marketing
Maybe.
it out to other providers and other consumers and other advocates in other parts of the country.
The thing is, just like you know, in our community, you know, every community, every town, every city is touched somehow in many different facets by mental health, and it belongs everywhere. Is that place that can be that anchor that people can go to and look at and utilize. So I think there's a real need for it. I have every confidence someday you'll see them everywhere.
Okay. Now, the kinds of products that you sell at the store, what are some of the stuff that's on sale, like for people that are coming on Wednesday night to your open house?
Sure.
Which will actually be before this is on TV, but that's okay. We'll talk about it anyway.
Okay.
What are the kinds of things that people are going to see when they get there?
Today we have a full line of T-shirts. We have art prints. We have original artwork. We have card sets, bracelets. We have a very cool line of art watches. I'm wearing one of them. A company called Philip Stein out of Miami, high-end manufacturer of luxury watches with technology called natural frequency technology. That's proven to help you sleep better, reduce stress. One of Oprah's top 50 products, which didn't hurt them, I'm sure. But Jeff and I had gone to them 2 years ago and said, we're the guys that are going to build a symbol for mental illness, and we have artwork, and we'd like to see if you'd be interested in a collection of our watches. And 2 years later, we have a collection of watches, and they're available in our store, they're available online, and they're created by all types of different artists in our community.
Okay.
So
Great.
So I think that answers all the products. Card sets as well. We have
Yeah,
cards.
that's another big aspect of. We're very excited. We're getting. We've been working with Hallmark now for the last 7-8 months, and the first of their companies will be coming on board here over the holidays, where people will be able to get Peacelove card sets.
Now, what stores? All of the Hallmark stores? they'll be
Well,
in? Or?
Initially it will start online, and
Okay.
it'll be through one of their high-end companies, William Arthur. But it's our hope through our dialogue with them that someday, not only Peacelove cards, but other products, whether it be diaries, journals, sketchbooks, that evoke the property and what we're doing, that people will be able to walk into a CVS. Today you can walk into a CVS and get a card for your dog. But you can't get a card if you're having a bad mental health day.
Right.
So it's just that's not right. And I just think it's, they haven't figured out maybe a formula yet how to get to that 26% of the population. So, and we think we've got it in a soft way that allows people the opportunity to, here, this is, we're wearing one of those watches too. And, I said to you before we went online, and again, I can say this because I'm that person. No one is going to wear a watch or a shirt that says I'm mentally ill on it.
Right.
It's not going to happen. But they'll wear the shirt, they'll wear the watch. It's okay.
That talks about health, that talks about recovery, that talks about peace, that talks about love. Yeah.
Celebrates art, celebrates stories.
And even our some of our licensees, they say, and they're absolutely right. Somebody might buy the shirt, they might buy the watch because it's cool. But on the back end, when they look at the label, or they look at the story behind it, they might learn something that they didn't know about the hardship and the struggles for people like myself and other people. So it's a soft way of being able to educate people and make them aware.
Are you interested in photographers who are in recovery that are able to produce products for you? Do you have anything that you're using in terms of photography?
We're interested in anybody
Any
and
form of
everybody.
media?
Yeah.
Right.
And we've actually we've done exhibits that were photography exhibits. We've done sculpture. We've done not only painting,
Poetry,
music.
music.
So all of the creative expressions, we embrace, and we believe in them all.
Great.
Yeah.
You see a lot of painting started. I'm a painter, so that's my forte. I tell people, fortunately, I wasn't a singer. Otherwise,
Fortunately,
for everybody else, I wasn't a singer.
sing in the shower, right?
That's right.
Or in the car with the windows rolled up.
That's about the extent of it. But for everybody, it's different.
That's right.
That's
right.
And it's something that everybody can do. One of the things that Matthew and I, from the outset, on our programming, which is so important to us, in getting it to people. Today, creativity is something we're all born with, and is at the essence of everything. Even in the business community, it's what's going to drive everything. But it's the first thing taken away in every our kids' schools, every hospital, every after school program. So the trick for us was, we knew we had something that was unique, that was powerful, that was simple, but our goal was to develop it and get it to people. Because you can have the greatest thing in the world, if you can't touch people, we're not going to help people. So
well, that brings me to the marketing notion. Who's doing the marketing for this? You two, Amy, all three of you?
It's a combination of the three of us. Yeah, we have a great internal team, but we've got a great external team as well. We've got a board of advisors that are very hands-on in different areas of expertise: marketing, social media. We have a great base of support, and our community is just there with us all the time, volunteering, supporting, facilitating. But on the marketing side, Jeff and I jump into that as much as we can over the course of a day, and it's really where we really see that brand and the ability to get that brand to products and programs. It's important for us. People connect with it.
You had mentioned before that you're a combination plate of a nonprofit and a profit company. Now, how does that work in terms of, do you have a board that's part of the nonprofit, and what do you have in terms of the profit part of your program? Who oversees the profit? You guys?
Right. I mean, you have basically two separate operating units. You have our foundation, which is where all our give back is executed, all the programming, which allows us the opportunity to get grants, personal donations.
Which is the nonprofit piece.
The nonprofit piece.
Right, okay.
But then you've got the for-profit piece, which ultimately assures us hopefully self-sustainability. You know, the 8-year-old kid that spends 40 minutes with me, who said it was his best day of his life, you know, why should it stop?
Right.
And there's a lot of great causes and things out there, and a lot of competition for people's you know, money. We want to make sure that we can take care of what our group. But it goes beyond that too. It's an issue of being able to attract the best of the best people, being able to take risk, being able to make long-term investments, being able to you know, attract capital, build a brand. All of the things that a nonprofit would never allow you to do.
Right.
So, you know, the way that I always think of it is entry points. You know, to take on something as significant as the stigma, which I really consider to be the last of the social injustices left on this earth. You know, we just haven't found a way as a society to deal with yet. We need everybody. So we talk about entry points. So between our profit and nonprofit, we want to invite everybody into the party. You know, major corporations, which are so critical to us, they've got the bandwidth, the resources to help us get to those types of people, the Hallmarks of the world,
right.
the CVSs of the world,
The watch company.
the Philip Steins of the world.
How did you get connected with them?
Good story.
Yeah, I mean, people say sometimes you can't make this stuff up, because you can't make this stuff up, but we literally, I wore one of these watches because a friend of mine is a jeweler, and he said, Jeff, you should wear it, it might help you. Well, I'm that guy, I'm desperate, I'll try anything. Send me a watch. So he sent me a watch and I started wearing it. And then at the same time, we kind of started formulating our kind of formula for what we're gonna do. So I went to New York, sat in a big mucky muck boardroom with the CEO of the company, and he said, it's okay, what are you doing here? I said, here's what we're gonna do. I said, who really needs your watch are people like me. I said, we're gonna build a community of people that really need your product. And he said, okay. We got out in the street and we didn't know if either we got...
The meeting was all of 5 minutes long.
Yeah, right. We got kicked out of there or we got a deal, I'm not sure.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how did that go? I don't know, I think it went pretty good.
So, but that's how it happened. And but people are finding out. You know, we were out at Hallmark. You know, I had the opportunity to speak out there in the fall last year at their symposium, and you know, those are the kinds of company. They're in the business of touching people's lives. We need their help.
Right.
We need their help, and I think they're ready.
Now, you've designed for NAMI, I think, already. You've made T-shirts for them. I think they had an event that they used your shirts for. I can't remember what the event was, but the annual meeting, or?
Actually, the NAMI Walks, which is,
is
their big fundraiser nationwide. Last year, we piloted with 10 cities, a collection of Peacelove T-shirts, different artists, different stories. And we got those T-shirts, LA, Chicago, Rhode Island, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, so we were all over the country. And it went really well. It went really well.
Do you have a link on their website to you?
We did, and we do. So they're a partner organization of ours. Big group, difficult to navigate for a small company like ourselves. So, but we're always looking for those partnerships and those collaborations, especially with groups that are in the mental health world. You know, have a captive audience, and you know, might be looking for something that's a little bit different, a little exciting, fun. You know, so
the personal stories, not your personal stories, but of folks that you've worked with so far that have come into the studios, that have been part of what you've been doing, any sort of anecdotal stories of that would touch the viewers?
How much time do we have?
We got about 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go. So
I mean, that's the thing I enjoy the most when I'm out speaking and talking to people, because that's the realness of what we're doing. And so a lot of them come to mind, but one in particular would be we had a young lady. We have these community, like we're going to have at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, and we had a young lady that came to a few of our first shows and really didn't say anything to anybody, and I didn't notice her. And she comes in one day and to our curator and shows her some paintings. And you know, she suffered from bipolar, and she showed the paintings, very powerful paintings. It was probably the first time in history that she'd ever even, maybe first time it had been out from under her bed, that she had showed it to someone. It was a major thing for her. So We were having a show a week later, and we asked her to participate in our show. So here she is, from maybe no one ever seeing it before, to hers side by side with famous artists, side by side.
What was the response?
Well, here's the story. We had maybe a few hundred people there that night, and she came into the room, and I saw her and her mother, and I didn't at first recognize her, and I didn't recognize her because she had a prom dress on, or she was going to a wedding or something. And her mother, and I'm a pretty sentimental guy anyways, that was enough to choke me up.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful sight, but it got me even better because, of course, I was standing next to someone who wanted to buy one of her paintings.
Wow.
So I went over to get her, and I told her that she had sold one of her paintings, and one of the people wanted to meet the artist, and she didn't believe me. And the look on her face is something I'll never forget. The look on her face, and Matthew, myself, and others in organizations, there's hundreds of those stories where we're really making a difference, touching people's lives, and it's such a simple thing that we're giving people. So
that's great. That's great. Now, poetry you'd mentioned too. Anything in the works in terms of putting a collection of poetry from folks that are in recovery or anything of that nature? Have you thought about that at all? Or
Nothing in the works, but if somebody brought an idea to us or the idea for a show, we would jump on it.
Okay.
We would jump on it.
Great. So you guys are just open to pretty much almost anything that anyone wants to do that has to do with creative arts.
Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's the timeline around expansion? You've already expanded to the Civic Center. Now you're a part of NAMI. They've already been in 10 different states with your Peacelove studio, T-shirts. And
exactly.
You've got watches that you're selling, and you said that they're a high-end company. Are they affordable for folks in terms of people buying a watch?
Interesting question. I mean, today the watches retail for $220, but when we first started with them, I think the least expensive watch was maybe $1,000.
Oh my goodness!
So the $220 certainly is not available to everybody, but
right.
Heading in the right direction. So I think for us, over the next 6 to 12 months. There'd be a real focus on making sure that we can find those kinds of companies that can license our property and help us get our message out to many people, and continuing to work hard on the formula that we have in our studios today, so in preparation for it to be able to be taken to other locations throughout the country and the world someday.
Okay.
And on the programming side, just as a side note, we've trained 14 facilitators. So we actually had a facilitator training symposium last year. CVS sponsored it, which was really great of them.
Kind of artisan training kind of thing?
Correct, yeah. People, individuals that can go out to the community and bring Paint for Peace, our free program to communities in need. So we'll make a big push over the course of the next few months to start tackling our waiting list, which is about 60 organizations strong.
Wow. Awesome.
So it's exciting.
Good.
So we've got some legs to
All
help
right.
us get out there.
We are going to have to stop now. I'm getting the high sign, but thank you very much for being with us today and being on Minds That Matter.